Welcome back to 4K Kings. My name is Matt, and with me as always is Russ, and we're back again today to dive into another part of our collection, everyone's favorite, Steelbooks. You love them, you hate them, they get dinged, they get scratched, they're shipped wrong, they're falling apart as soon as you get them, but we keep coming back anyway, and that's what we're here to talk about, our love of Steelbooks, Russ and I's entire collection, the good, the bad, the ugly, so let's get started. First up in the numbers is 310 to Yuma. We covered this release in our worst 4Ks of all time, and I actually went out of my way to repurchase this movie because I loved this Steelbook so much. If you're a Steelbook fan, this one is outstanding. It's one of those plastic slide down routines, but this is actually a really well done classy version where you've got sort of one picture here of Russell Crowe and Christian Bale, and then when you slide the plastic case down, you get the title treatment and a little bit of stagecoach robbery.
Well.
So awesome Steelbook all around, great film. If you haven't seen it, check it out. If you don't own the Steelbook, why don't you?
Robert Zemeckis' racially charged Back to the Future.
Next up for B's is my Batman 4K collection. These came out in a collection not that long ago, in a regular and a Steelbook, and I went with Steelbooks. I really like the colors here. You got the blue, the purple, the green, and the red. They kind of match the different themes. Something about these I kind of liked a lot more than what the regular one was offering. This comes in a Steelbook box, which I think is great. I love when a Steelbook set comes in a Steelbook case. I think that is the best. It did arrive with a scratch on it immediately. As soon as I opened it up, big old scratch right on the front. Gotta love that, but the releases themselves, they're still in pretty good shape. As far as Steelbooks go, they're some of my favorites.
T-Boz from TLC's Best Performance, Belly.
Next up is the FYE Limited Edition Steelbook for Better Off Dead. Classic film from my childhood, pretty awesome Steelbook as well. Waiting on the 4K, but thought this would do for now. Next up for the letter C is a film that would be sorely missed on any collector's shelf, and that's Carlito's Way.
Old school, baby.
This came out in the US as well as the UK, and Zavvi scooped this up to put into their collector's edition box set, which if you're a fan of this channel, you know, and everyone at home knows, and I know, that we've talked about this plenty. It's a beautiful box, it's a beautiful steel, slides in just like this. And now you can escape to paradise with Carlito's Way.
The chintziest Steelbook of all time, this incredible $4.99 Best Buy release of Casino.
Next up is the first of many in my Titans of Cult collection, and as we've talked before, I've pretty much at this point thrown away every last piece that comes with it except for the Steelbook itself. Plastic box gone, pins, who knows, little tokens, whatever came with it. This is Casino Royale, which is an outstanding film. The Steelbook itself is nice, kind of looks a little ordinary when you stand it alone, but in general, great film, and I'm happy to own this Steelbook. Next up for C's, and a title I'm going to cover when we go through our Scream Factory releases, is Child's Play. This was released by Scream Factory in 4K last year in a collection 1, 2, 3, and then 4, 5, 6, 7 also had come out. However, they put this one out in a Steelbook and they did the original art, which I'm a huge fan of. Anytime you do original art steel, you pretty much can count on my money. I do like the regular art that Scream Factory put out for this, but the original art is just that good. There's some gloss on it. There's a little bit of depth to this, which is really nice. It's not just flat or matte. You got some shine to the lightning on there, and I think this is an outstanding release. It should be in anyone's collection, especially the steel.
Don't care what y'all say, I enjoyed it. Clerks 3. The Titans of Cult Disappointment, Clockwork Orange. Amy Heckerling's masterpiece, Clueless.
Next up for C, and next up in my plastic slide down Steelbook collection is Cloverfield. This is a pretty nice Steelbook, and here the plastic slide acts as a camcorder, kind of turns this into a little bit of a camera, and then on the outside you've got the Statue of Liberty that's been bitten through, kind of reminiscent of the original poster art. Then when you take the plastic off, you've got the monster attacking the city. She's on the front attacking, and she's on the back attacking. And I've mentioned this before, I really just like how they're basically putting spoilers on Steelbooks and cover art these days, but it is a great steel, it's great in 4K, and I'm happy to own this and have this in my collection.
Coraline. Now I have a machine gun. Ho ho ho. Do the Right Thing. Or Night of the Hunter. Robert Zemeckis' racially charged Back to the Future.
Next up is one of my favorite Tom Cruise action films, and one that we gushed about on the channel not that long ago. Coming in for E is Edge of Tomorrow.
Not a fan.
This is an exclusive Steelbook that was limited and sold by Zavvi, and I actually picked it up in their exclusive hard box edition. When I picked it up, it came in this, and this is very similar to what you'd receive from Arrow, hard outer box. You've got a booklet inside, photos, and the Steelbook that goes with it. It does have this slide down outer plastic case, which thankfully removes the ratings at the bottom here. I don't care too much for this outer slide. I don't think it's a big deal. I think it's okay whether it comes or didn't come with it. I really do like this hard box itself. I like the art that's on here. On the inside, they kind of give you this pouch to put all of your paper products in, which is pretty cool. A booklet, and of course the steel as well. Outstanding film, can't recommend this enough. One of Tom Cruise's underseen gems. If you like sci-fi, Tom Cruise, action, give this one a chance, you won't be disappointed.
Evil Dead 1 and 2.
Coming in at E is Ex Machina, and this is an outstanding release that Zavvi put out. This is their limited edition Steelbook. Once again, they also provided a limited edition hard box edition that this went with. This Steelbook itself is great. On the front, you've got Evil Ava, and on the back, you've got Nice Ava. Again, it came in this hard box, which I think is really nice. The back also very nice. And on the inside, just like Edge of Tomorrow, on the inside they give you a nice pouch with the paper products that go in it, as well as a very nice hardback book. Hardback book is a nice touch. A lot of times you get those perfect bound books, which are a little softer. This hardback is the way to go. All in all, this is an outstanding film, an outstanding science fiction film. It's an awesome release. I love the Steelbook a lot. I really hope that they continue to put out more Alex Garland films. I would love an Annihilation version like this. An Annihilation Steelbook would be amazing with the shimmer on there. But for now, I'll settle for Ex Machina. And if you haven't picked this up, I highly recommend it. Coming up next from Sony is one of our favorite picks of last year, one of our favorite 4Ks of last year, and one of the best Steelbooks that we have ever seen come out. And again, coming from Sony, letter F is Fright Night. Russ is a huge fan of this film, as am I. I've seen this a lot less than Russ has, and he gushed for quite some time, but I do recall loving this film and really thinking it was a really fun 80s horror romp. I've mentioned before, and will mention again, this art is one of the top 5 poster arts for any horror movie that I've ever seen in my entire life that has remained in my brain. This picture of this vampire is so awesome, iconic as ever, still freaking me out. Absolutely love it. Back, you got Jerry Dandridge sort of turning into the vampire. Again, this is sold out originally, then it came back as a limited edition reprint. If you didn't get your chance to get your hands on it then, I hope you got a chance now.
For the G's, I have Good Burger. Kicking off the H's, Heathers. Underrated film, Hell or High Water. Hollywood Dreams and Nightmares, the Robert Englund story.
Sticking with H and another Everything Blue release. This was a gift. Thank you so much, Everything Blue, for Hot Fuzz. This was their Blu-ray version of Hot Fuzz that they put out a long time ago before they had met up with Zavvi and they were still working on their own. This is an outstanding Steelbook and number 2 in their Cornetto trilogy. It's got a lot of great embossing, debossing, and spot gloss, as their releases tend to have. It arrived in this behemoth of a box, which again, I think is outstanding. We're going to cover this when we go into more of our boutique labels, so hang on to that. But inside of this is 2 cases with 2 separate Steelbooks, and this is the Steelbook on the inside. And man, is this fantastic. Everything Blue, thank you so much. Next up for G is another Zavvi Special Collector's Edition, and that is The Green Mile. Coming from Zavvi in a very similar packaging to Ex Machina and Edge of Tomorrow is Green Mile. Again, the Steelbook is on the inside. There's also a small booklet and a pouch where all the paper products go. This is a really excellent film and a really excellent package. I enjoyed this whole box as well as the Steelbook itself, and I'm happy to have this in my collection.
Todd Phillips' Joker. Bishop doesn't even give a fuck about himself. Partner.
Coming in for K, one of my favorite Leica films, and that is Kubo and the 2 Strings. Again, this will be touched on when we go through our Shout Scream Factory collection, but I definitely want to cover this in my Steelbooks as well because this is a fantastic film and a very beautiful Steelbook. Every single Leica film that has come out at this point is now available in 4K, and if you haven't seen these before, I highly recommend you see them, but if you haven't seen them in 4K, you are totally missing out. The Steelbook is still available. I highly recommend you check this out, pick this up. It's fun for the whole family. It's great animation. They've got a whole slate of different films, but this is one of my favorites. Rounding out my Titans of Cult collection, I'm coming in with an M and a P for you, and that's The Matrix, and Pacific Rim. Similar to Casino Royale, there's really not a whole lot going on with either of these releases. They just have a nice color scheme to them. You got your red for Casino Royale, green for Matrix, and blue for Pacific Rim. The plastic box and pins and everything that went along with it really tied it together, unfortunately, even though it's so chintzy that I had to throw it out. But when these things were slid in there, that package itself did look fairly nice. All that stuff wasn't worth keeping. So now you kind of have three sort of bland steelbooks. They're not horrible, they're nice, the 4Ks are great. Titans of Cult's trying to clean up their act now to provide something a little bit better than what they've had in the past. But I can't say that I'm sad to have these, I'm just sad at the price that I had to pay.
Pet Cemetery. Pirates of the Caribbean.
For letter P, Poltergeist. We talked a lot of crap about this release when it came out, mainly because the art options weren't that great, and even this art option is just fine. You've got Jo Beth Williams climbing out of the pool with the skeletons chasing after her, and then on the back you got Carol Ann looking at the television. When the regular and steelbooks were announced, I passed immediately because I didn't want Craig T. Nelson's ass, and I certainly didn't want this one. Zavvi, however, did us a solid and provided us with the original art on this hard box, and this is the one I decided to pick up. That way I could get exactly what I wanted, which is basically the original art, which wasn't being offered in any other release except for this one in this hard box. Only way to get it, collector's edition, which is what I ended up doing. It does have this kind of kooky steelbook in the inside, but in general, this is a really nice spine, a really great release. Thank you, Zavvi, for doing the fans a solid.
Popcorn. Psycho. The greatest Marvel film of all time, Punisher Warzone. It's not Indiana Jones and the Raiders of the Lost Ark. This is Raiders of the Lost Ark. Indiana Jones and the Temple of Doom. Indiana Jones and the Last Crusade. Requiem for a Dream.
Coming up next is one of my favorite steelbooks of last year, and that's Reservoir Dogs.
Out of the fucking blue!
Outstanding transfer, outstanding release. I might have talked a little bit of crap on this ear slide down, but after I got it in my hands, I had to admit, it's pretty awesome. Next up for R is RoboCop. I'm not going to spend too much time on this one as I already talked about this in my Air release, but I had to showcase this one last time. It's an awesome steelbook in 4K. Not sure if it's still available, but if it is, make sure you've got this in your collection. Another Best Buy exclusive steelbook for Saw. This is Saw, the original Saw in 4K with the slide down plastic case. Again, I really like this art. I really like the treatment that they did here. Without the slip case on, you've got the doll on the front, which looks awesome. Carrie Elways on the back getting dragged away to hell. And then when you put the slipcase on, and it puts the doll into the television, which is the way that all the victims are usually watching this, so that is a great touch. Awesome steelbook, awesome movie, highly recommend.
Say hello to my little steelbook.
To wrap up the Cornetto trilogy, I'm going to show my Everything Blue Shaun of the Dead and World's End steelbooks. It goes perfect with Hot Fuzz. All three of these are outstanding steelbooks. Thank you, Everything Blue, for always putting out quality products.
All work and no play makes Jack a dull boy.
Coming up next is a steelbook for one of my favorite films, and the letter S is Some Kind of Wonderful. This isn't a 4K steelbook. In fact, this will probably never be released in 4K, and that's okay. I think this is a really nice steelbook. It's pretty typical for what Paramount does. I like the illustrations of the characters on here, and then on the back, you've got the iconic phrase. I'm not sure how many fans for this movie there are out there, but I'm happy to have this in my collection. Coming up next for S is a really awesome steelbook that showed up in a really shitty package, and that is The Sting. So when I say package, I'm not actually talking about this steelbook. I actually think this steelbook looks really nice. I purchased this right around the time that Zavvi started doing collector's editions with not really their own releases, but where they were packaging up 4Ks of steelbooks or regular releases and putting something special around them. This was the very first one of those I bought, and it was almost the last one. It came in this very chintzy cardboard box, which to this day I'm still very pissed off about. It doesn't protect the steelbook at all. It's fraying on the edges. It just looks like crap. Even this picture on the front, I didn't mind it first when I saw it, but now that I'm looking at it, I really prefer this original art so much better. They tried to go for something different here, but it just ends up being a little bland. The insides are fine. It's got your little folder with your paper products and a little booklet, but just the flimsiness of this box was enough to really anger me for the price that was paid. Since then, and as we've seen from Ex Machina and Edge of Tomorrow, they've started to produce more harder boxes, which I do like. This Steelbook in general is really nice. I just wish it didn't come in this shitty ass box.
The Texas Chainsaw Massacre. To Kill a Mockingbird.
Next up is one of my favorite Steelbooks of all time and one of the best movies I've ever seen. Top Gun: Maverick. If you've watched this channel for a long time, you know that I'm a big fan of Tom Cruise, I'm a big fan of Maverick, and I'm a big fan of this Steelbook. And I'm really glad that this is the one I picked up. It looks awesome for Top Gun. It looks awesome on my shelf. Tom Cruise, thank you so much.
Total Recall. Snoop Dogg in a wheelchair.
Last but not least is my Steelbook for True Romance, which I showed in my Arrow section not that long ago, but I wanted to show this one last time. This is an awesome Steelbook that you could have got on its own, but I got it in the deluxe edition with the wraparound box, booklet, poster, and all that kind of stuff. But like I said, I wanted to showcase this Steelbook one last time because it is a really awesome steel. Alabama on the front and Clarence on the back. I really think this one pops.
Brian De Palma's The Untouchables. The Warriors, with those stupid comic inserts. Fuck you, Paramount. Whiplash. Who Framed Roger Rabbit?
And that's it. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video for however long this was. I really appreciate you going through this with Russ and I. Thank you to everyone who always comes back and likes and comments and has subscribed in the past to the channel. If you like what you see here, please let us know what Steelbooks are we missing, what Steelbooks did you not know exist that we do have. Please stay tuned over the next few months. We are going to continue to roll out our collection in small segments. Previously, we have put out our Arrow collection. Now this is our Steels. Coming up soon, we've got Scream Factory, we've got other boutiques, we've got television shows, we've got oversized fun and everything in between. So hang in there, stay tuned, and thanks for watching.